All right, everybody. I am excited. We're live. We got a ton of people cycling into the room. So welcome, welcome. We are so excited to bring this content to you. We're going to be talking about Azure Government Virtual Machines. I'm going to go back into PowerPoint. Hopefully I can pull this one off. Let's see. All right, let me go back to playing from current slide and let me get this all shared back out. Share screen. Boom. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. So I have no idea how that demo turned out. I'm really hoping it wasn't a blank screen. If it is a blank screen, hey, it's a live webinar. It happens. In the meanwhile, you probably got the gist from hearing me talk about it. So let's keep it moving. Again, we talked about what it's really like. I've shown you what it's really like. Even if you didn't get to see that because it was blank, hopefully it wasn't blank. Again, I did ask them to kind of modify some security stuff. It's another good point that you can actually blank out the ability to share your screen in a virtual workstation. And now let's move on to the big question I'm sure that you have, which is how do we understand cost? Well, the hardest thing is pricing and architecting the solution. Why? Because you're literally, when you go to look at pricing on this stuff, it's so confusing. It is like paying by the hour, fractions of a penny in most cases for these virtual machines. You're going to pay like 35 cents an hour for X machine. You're going to pay 27 cents an hour for Y machine. Look, each client is different and it uses different applications and needs different resources. And it could need graphical processes like for CAD or not. And there are many other things to consider. Okay, there's nothing I can do about that. However, if I had a gun to my head and I had to give you an idea, here's how I would explain it. Number one, I would say that you should probably budget $100 per machine per month for all solutions required to license, secure, and make any machine compliant with DFARS, NIST, and CMMC. Okay, that has nothing to do with virtual machines. So whether you're doing it on your local network or whether you're doing it in the cloud with a virtual machine in Azure Government, you're going to have probably $100 a month worth of services and solutions to that machine to make sure it's compliant. Okay, just generally speaking. Then I would budget another $100 or less per user per month for the resources needed to support them in Azure Government Virtual Machines. Okay. The best thing I can tell you is this. I like to price things when I first start talking to people in a worst case scenario. Generally speaking, it will be less expensive than this. However, I don't want you to get on the phone with one of my guys and they go through pricing and you start doing the numbers. You're like, well, Mike said in his webinar, it was only $100 for the virtual machine. Well, it depends. If you are a one-person company, all right, we probably can't get this solution cheaper than say $500, $600 a month. All right, there's just there technically in the background, there is a lot going on. All right, and I don't want to bore you with those details because my job is to make this easy and simple for you. But there's a lot going on in the background that's just mandatory. Okay. It's very much like the rest of compliance. If you have to be compliant, you're a one-person business, it seems expensive. If you're 50 people, it won't seem expensive because you've got economies of scale. Sorry, small businesses. Partner with On-Call, and I want to help you win more defense work and not be a 1 or 2 or 5-person business anymore. Seriously. $100 or less per user per month for the resources needed to support them in Azure Government. Okay. That's a fairly good benchmark. Okay. It could be more, it could be less. Okay. Don't hold me to it. But again, I know you want to understand the relative magnitude of cost. And I think that's about the best place I could really be for you. Okay. By the way, these two prices, they are in addition. Okay. So think $200 per user for all the solutions necessary. Yes, if you have 20 users, $2,000 a month is not unusual. Okay. If you have 20 users and you're only paying $2,000 a month for your whole IT environment, dude, you're doing great. You are doing great. By the way, just as a general rule of thumb, a lot of people don't know this. IT is typically under 1% of gross revenue for most companies. Under 1%. 100% of companies cannot operate without IT. It's a very interesting statistic I just thought I'd share. Kind of randomly popped into my head. Now, what about servers? If you've got a more complex situation, like you want to host GitHub Enterprise, that was just a random example we've done a lot of lately. Okay, $250 to $800 per server per month for each virtual server, depending upon what resources are needed. Yeah, there's a wide swing. It depends on the resources that are needed. If you need to run a simple domain controller for, some reason, okay, that's probably on the cheaper end. I think I've seen a domain controller for under $150 a month. If you need to run GitHub Enterprise, I've seen that for around $500, $600 a month. It just depends on what it is that you need. Every environment is different. There is a wide variance there. Okay. Where can we find efficiencies in billing? Machine uptime. We can set rules that if the machine doesn't have anybody logged into it, the machine will just simply shut down and not charge the user during those hours. That could be up to 16 hours a day. 1 year guaranteed reservations and more. There's other ways we can find efficiencies. Again, at the end of the day, we want you to talk with us and we want you to really kind of talk with us about some of the efficiencies. We're going to give you the worst case pricing. We're going to tell you a budget for that. And then we're going to try to find efficiencies for you anywhere we can. Again, we talk about on-calls transparent management fees for the whole thing a little bit. We charge a flat rate 20% management fee. I don't know any other company who will sit there, get on the internet, put on a free webinar, and actually tell you how much they will charge you for this. Why? Well, because we do this at volume. We're standing up tons of virtual machines every single day. Okay. I don't have time to sit here and figure out different profit levels for different clients. I'm not in the business of gouging my clients. It's just not only that, but we quote in volume. I mean, I think we had like 17 quotes go out yesterday. And I got to tell you, you can't put out 17 quotes in a day if every single quote has to be individually tailored beyond line items. Like I'm not going to sit here and figure out how to charge you the most amount of profit. Whatever you use, we charge 20% of that. That's our management fee. You know what? If you grow, awesome. We got more to manage. We got more work to do. It actually is a model that for us works really well. We're not crushing it by any stretch of the imagination, but we're able to compensate everybody, and it's a really good thing. And we do have several clients that have scaled to be some pretty awesome clients, and we hope you're one of those clients. But ultimately, our real goal is to give you something that's flat rate in a world where the pricing is very confusing.